Indie games give developers and artists alike a chance to create without the corporate shackles of big publishers, and with that comes a slew of fantastic art styles. I'm Cal G.
And I'm Mike Kent.
And this is Pens&Pixels Popcast, Top 6 Art Styles in Indie Games.
First up is Bastion, an action RPG by Supergiant Games. I love Bastion, but what I actually love about Bastion is the art. Credit goes to Gen Z, an incredible concept artist who has designed all the games from Supergiant Games. The style is shocking, using a merger of both North American cartoon style meshing with anime, then a smack into line-free painted technique. I could not say enough about the graphical painting feel that Bastion presents on every level. This is immersive, and most important of all, I want to explore every inch of the environment. Bastion tackles dark subject matter in its story. This is all contrasted with the art, coming in with bright neon colors and brightly lit environments. The detail in each isometric panel is outstanding, showcasing detail, construction, and function of each floating piece. You care that this beautiful world is falling apart. The character design continues the contrasting themes, each making all almost chibi builds in the characters, tough but elegant. The game consists of contrasts, all executed with a sense of haphazard unity. It is a must-play.
Guacamelee, a Metroidvania action platformer from Drinkbox Studios. How can you use color boldly without sacrificing the edginess? That was the question developers Drinkbox Studios had on its mind when creating Guacamelee. By literally going edgy! Great silhouettes created by strong, jagged shapes and highly saturated character color palettes make sure you can clearly make out the action during gameplay even when shit gets hectic. Drinkbox wanted to challenge the typical portrayal of Mexico by being a bland, nothing desert and washed with desaturated colors and sepia tone. And it shows. Artist Augusto used these images initially to get the team started. Mexican hand-painted paper mache with crazy colorful designs, giving off a, quote, bizarre, amazing, nightmarish feel. The game is gorgeous and full of life, and death. Mexicans see death as a celebration of life, so for the Aztecs, the color orange was the color of death. And the Dead World shows off as much color as Living World. In fact, they wanted the Dead World to be more alive than the Living World. Awash with glowing agave plants, bright pinks, purples, and sugar skulls, they made sure you'd never get tired of exploring this fantastic world they've created.
Hyper Light Drifter, a retro 2D action role-playing game by Heart Machine. A retro-inspired pixel art epic, Hyper Light Drifter is reminiscent of classic games spiced with current techniques. The abundant use of color and scale sets the game apart from most other games of its type. The palette of the game sits almost in the pastel level of pink, green, and blue, all providing an atmosphere of the game that is almost entirely done with visual storytelling. Like many passion projects, Hyper Light Drifter is an unusual origin. The game's creator Alex Preston uses his experience living with a genetic heart condition. This is reflected in the game's dark tones and style, with everything revolving around an ailing drifter coping with his own set of problems, but able to manage with his life and do his job. My favorite part of the game's design is the use of light. It is in every environment, done with a very simple and low-res pixel art. Each scene has had its own light or multiple light sources that moves and creates a color contrast to draw your eye over the world. It almost feels alive, despite the classic low-res pixel art. With its grand scale, soft palettes, and creative design, this game is nothing but a wonder to look at.
Apotheon, an action platformer from Alien Trap Games. Ripped straight from Greek pottery, Apotheon looks dope as hell. Exploring an art style we've rarely, if ever, seen tackled in a game. Greek pottery typically only uses two colors, black and red, but Alien Trap worked around it. Player communication is also very important, and it's really hard to do that with only one color. If all the characters were black, all the items were black, all the environmental elements were black, it would be very difficult to tell what was important and what wasn't. We added splashes of color to draw the player's eye and let them know what they're seeing at a glance. Enemies have all red in them, the player is green, health items are a bright red, money is yellow, etc. The black figure style is a great starting point, but we're trying to be flexible with it where the gameplay experience is concerned. They also use bright and highly saturated colors for the backgrounds, oranges and reds for outside and city areas, greens for any forested areas, and blues for underground. It makes for an easy-to-read action game and easy detection of just what kind of location you're in for. With a distinctive style and an imaginative cultural edge, Apotheon is a game that looks as good as it plays.
Sword and Sorcery, an action-adventure art game by Capybara and Super Brothers. Sword and Sorcery is as low-res and pixel art as it comes. The whole game looks like a distinct pixelated painting. Built around the music for the game, The pace and tone plays out with its dark, eerie style perfectly. It is an all-in, all-entrancing, and addictive game. The game's painterly colors, sparse patterning, and expressive stick figure characters have more life than you would think. The main character is kept small, and in most scenes, letting the expansive painted environments tell the scale and depth of the world. Despite looking like the game only uses a small color palette, the images you see simply don't do the game justice. Bushes moving, forest creatures stirring, this gives the feeling of motion throughout the game. Some pixels glow, giving off brilliant shades on the surroundings, and some of them even pulsate like candles. You can even see the fireflies and the birds living in their pixel world. All of this makes something so simple come alive, a feat few other pixel art games have ever achieved. It is in its relaxing simplicity that this game earns its charm, and it is a must for any indie enthusiast.
And last on our list, The Binding of Isaac, a roguelike dungeon crawler from Edmund Macmillan. By juxtaposing grotesque with cute, The Binding of Isaac pulls no punches. You'll deal with biblical themes. The word of God tells Isaac's mother to kill him. You'll kill Satan. You'll fight huge fetuses. You'll get puked on, get pooped on, and wander around a decayed womb with a dead cat. And it's all just adorable. These huge heads, big cute eyes, and teensy smiling faces make all this disgusting shit palatable. The creator, Edmund Macmillan, made a conscious effort to soften all the dark themes within Isaac by using a cutesy art style to soften the blow. The themes run dark, and it's weird to talk about because when you separate them out and you don't have the humor, then it seems really terrible, and I don't ever want to make a game that's just really terrible and puts you in a horrible mood. That's why I try to make it as cute as possible when I want to get a really dark message across. The bigger the eyes. And it works. Describing a game about a naked child crying at poop in a womb may sound like the most unappealing thing ever, but in practice, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that like button or hit that subscribe button, and check out the Pens and Pixels Popcast on our channel or on iTunes and SoundCloud.